earned his stripes on this team. Walt's super proud of him. Anybody that's ever played with him, yesterday was a great day.
It felt good to watch him take the ball. I know he felt great, but we weren't the only ones that were impressed by him yesterday. His new bullpen coach in Darren Holmes, the former Rocky himself, saw a brand new side of Betancourt in the bullpen.
Watching Rafi, go through spring training and just got a great appreciation for his professionalism, and he's just a warrior, and he kind of stayed by himself yesterday in the bullpen, kind of off to himself. You tell he had some emotion, and see him go in was great, and see him be successful, and that's what he's done all spring, and that's the reason why he's on this club. So we're going to be relying highly on him. So.
Well, don't call it a comeback.
I've been here for years.
He's been here for years, rocking the strike zone. I'm going to stop there.
Striking out
Rafael Betancourt, 12 big league seasons, 74 saves. Of course, we've known him as the closer with the Colorado Rockies. He'll be in a little bit of a different role to start the year this year, but it is great to see Rafi coming out of the bullpen. Jordan Lyles, he will be on the mound starting for Colorado tonight. We will set the stage. His first pitch is just around the corner between the Rockies and the Brewers.
Milwaukee on the corner, strike three. Battle won by Kendrick. Take a good look, you won't see it for long. How about a 4 spot in the first frame? See you later. Home run, Nolan Arenado. What a debut in 2015 for the Colorado Rockies. Couldn't have scripted it any better.
Well, the Rockies won convincingly here in Milwaukee on opening day. A 10-0 shutout, a ton of fun. How do you follow that up in game two?
Well, you move the page, you turn it over. Whatever he did yesterday doesn't matter. Today's a new day. I told that to Tulo. I said, hey, I don't care what you did yesterday. Today's new. Look, it's easy to overreact. Look at what they did yesterday and say the Brewers are just going to roll over. This is a team that fights in this home field, so I expect them to really compete.
And we're going to turn it over to our good friend Drew Goodman, play-by-play tonight. And Drew, when you talk about this team, it'd be fun to see Act 2 tonight to follow Act 1 last night.
Well, Act 1 would be tough to beat. It was pretty special yesterday, but I'm with you. I'd love to see another 4 spot in that first inning. They took great at-bats up and down the lineup. Even the outs were hard outs yesterday. It was a very special opening day, 2015, for the Rockies, and they're looking to go again tonight. It's Colorado, it's Milwaukee. Come on back to Miller Park with us. Amid the pomp and circumstance, there is a universal desire to begin with a bright flash. And that's precisely what the Rockies did, throwing out 3 doubles and a bomb in a 4-run first. A prelude to a 10-run, 16-hit barrage. And there was the Colorado debut of Kyle Kendrick. He was a strike-throwing machine, working 7 high-quality and efficient innings. A marvelous 2015 debut. Tonight, it's Game 2. Rockies, Brewers, next. And welcome back, Day 2 of the Major League season 2015. Once again, we're gathered in Miller Park in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Rockies taking on the Brewers. And anything that would even slightly resemble what we witnessed yesterday would be welcome for the Nation of Purple. Welcome upstairs with my partner, George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman, 10-0. Great start by Kyle Kendrick. Everybody hit the ball on the button. It was pretty good.
Yeah, whenever you hit it that far and then you catch everything and you throw it really well and you put zeros on the board, everybody gets to shake hands. It's a great day.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. And from your perspective downstairs, Jeff Houston, it looked the same, I'm sure.
It did. It was fun to watch, obviously, Kyle Kendrick. But I'm looking forward to watching the offense again tonight because they just rolled yesterday.
Well, here we go. Ready to go on the hill is veteran Matt Garza, the 31-year-old, and he'll face the same exact lineup that the Rockies employed yesterday with such great success. They produced 16 hits, 8 extra base hits, and maybe a 17th hit because initially Nick Hundley was given a hit, then they took it away, and I think they're still having a conversation about that. Charlie Blackmon steps up. He was 1 for 5 yesterday, but I thought his best at bat was his initial at bat of the game because he forced Kyle Loeschfeles to throw every pitch he had in his arsenal.
And as a leadoff man, that's what you attempt to do. And I think Charlie has accepted that role very well as he works against Matt Garza.
Garza throws harder than Loesch. He's always been known for high-quality fastball and a real good slider.
And he's a guy that has struggled. In his career, he's 75-75, but only 3 winning seasons out of 9 that he has pitched. This is his 10th time at the major league level to start the season. So he's a 500 pitcher with pretty good stuff, actually.
Former first-round pick out of Fresno State. So 2-strike count to begin on Charlie Blackmon. The roof is closed. Chilly day in Milwaukee today. And that is strike 3. Dan Alessandria punching out Charlie Blackmon. And it just got the inside edge of the strike zone. Let's take a look at the Rockies lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Cargo again in the 2 spot. Then Tulowitzki, Morneau, Arenado, and Dickerson combined for 8 ribbies yesterday. Nick Hundley, DJ LeMahieu, and Jordan Lyles 1 through 9. And here's Cargo, who got the day started with a blistering double to left center. And that's a line shot that's caught this time by Gene Segura. 2 outs.
Well, last year for Garza, when he pitched, you see the 163 and a third, 364 earned run average, a very good whip of 1.18. He didn't walk many. At home, he pitched well. 6-4, 283 earned run average. His troubles started on the road. 2-4, 469 earned run average out on the road.
2 outs, nobody on for Tulowitzki. Troy was 3 for 5 yesterday. Lifetime, he's 2 for 13 against Garza. And that pitch is inside, ball 1. For Garza, he is in year 2 of a $50 million deal. And though I know they sound like a dime a dozen now, $50 million deals, it's the largest free agent deal that the Brewers organization has ever handed out. Their previous high was a deal in the $42 million range that was given to Jeff Suppan.
Suppan had made the last opening day start besides Ivana Gallardo, who had done it for 5 straight years. Prior to yesterday's start of Kyle Loesch.
Yep, once again, Giovanni Gallardo was traded to Texas during the winter for a number of prospects. You know, the Rockies never minded seeing Gallardo. He was 0-5 against the Rockies, Frage, with a 6.08 ERA.
Yeah, they wanted to fly him in.
Yeah, it was a tough day for Kyle Loesch in the middle yesterday. He gave up, matched his career high for runs allowed in a game, 8. Rockies ran him off after just 3 1/3. He gave up 10 hits. And as we mentioned, the outs were loud outs.
Well, I think Doug Marino put it good yesterday after the ball game. We're riding home, and Doug, who does stats for us up here, he said, you know, Loesch can do that. He'll have a clunker about every 4 or 5 starts, but overall, pretty good starter. Yesterday, he had one of those clunkers. To be quoted exactly what Doug said. Called it a clunker.
I think Kyle may have thrown a few adjectives in front of clunker. There's the big arm on the forward strike zone. That last fastball on the outer edge at 94 miles an hour. And this ball's well hit to right field. Going back is Parra, and he'll get there and make the catch. So it's a 1-2-3 start for Matt Garza. The contrast from a day ago. Sports is brought to you by your hometown Toyota stores. Let's go places. By Wingstop. Get the flavor for your whole crew. Order online at wingstop.com. Get at it. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. We go to the bottom of the first inning. The Rockies went in order. Jordan Lyles will start his 2015 campaign and hopefully do it the same way he did last year. He was outstanding the first couple of months of the season before breaking his left hand in a play at the plate, missing a couple of months.
Home record 5-1 at Coors Field, 2-3 out on the road, but an earned run average almost a point different. 4.81 at Coors, 3.93 out on the road.
He had a terrific March, if you put a lot of weight in what you see in March. In fact, going into his final spring outing, he had an 0.86 ERA. He got touched up a little bit in his last outing. Still fashioned a very low 2 ERA in spring training. 2-1 on Carlos Gomez. Last year, he matched his career best with 7 victories. Sometimes we forget that he's only 24. This ball's in the air to left, right at Dickerson, 1 out.
Rushed to the big leagues by the Houston Astros at a very young age. But with that being said, this is his first time over that 4-year period of being on the opening day roster to start the season. So he's excited about that part, obviously. And going to be a main part of this rotation.
Here's Jonathan Lucroy. The Brewers will play tonight without Ryan Braun in their starting lineup. We suspected, there's Braun, that something was amiss when he left the game. Now, it was lopsided, but he was due up the next inning. It was still the middle innings. And he kind of tweaked his rib cage, making this catch on a Justin Morneau drive. He went back and jogged near the wall.
That looked like a normal catch to me. It didn't seem like he strained anything.
Yeah, it really did. Hundley hoping for play. He's going to have one. Nicely done by Nick Hundley. 2 outs. So he has been listed as day-to-day, naturally. His MRI was clean. He is supposedly available to pinch hit tonight. Here's the Southwest batting order for Ron Renicky. Adam Lind will slide up from the 5 spot to the 3 spot in the absence of Braun. Ramirez, Chris Davis, Gerardo Parra, who has great numbers against Jordan Lyles. Gene Segura slides in front of Scooter Gennett tonight. Gennett hit 7th yesterday, and then Matt Garza. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Lynn. He had 3 hits, a few bright spots in the opener for Milwaukee, and that was his Brewers debut as well.
Just from the side, you could see Jordan Lyles just really trying to get the extension and finish out in front.
Kind of the duplication of what we saw with Kendrick last night. I think that's kind of a good learning curve, even though he has been in the big leagues 4 years, for Jordan Lyles to watch and see the approach that he took last night, try to manage the same thing.
Three balls and a strike. Yesterday, Kendrick just pounded the zone. 27 hitters came to bat against him, and he started 18 of them with strike 1. This is Kyle. And the biggest play of the game, he'll tell you this, and conversing with Walt Weiss, sometimes you think, well, 10-0, it was a blowout from Jump Street, especially with a 4-0 start. Second inning, Milwaukee had traffic, a chance to get back in at first and second, 1 out, and he got Segura to hit into a 5-4-3 double play. And in many ways, that was the biggest play of the game because it kept momentum, Jeff, on the Rockies side.
It did, and it was a changeup. It wasn't the sinker that you would assume would induce a double play. It was a changeup from Kyle.
So a 2-out walk to Lind. We'll check the gloves for the Rockies. Same as yesterday. Dickerson, Blackman, and Gonzalez in the outfield. Arenado, Tulowitzki, LeMahieu, and Morneau, along with Nick Hundley, who was terrific behind the plate yesterday. Here's Aramis Ramirez. Inside, ball 1. Ramirez's numbers from last year, and by his standards, not a huge year, clearly. But he beat up the Rockies 12 for 25, 3 home runs, 8 driven in against Colorado pitching last season.
I can remember, was it last year or the year before that he went into the manager's office when he had a dreadful April and apologized?
Yeah, he's always been a stand-up guy. And I don't know how many guys in either one of your careers you came across who ever did something like that.
No, it was somebody that had that many years in the big leagues as well.
And maybe a young player. And this is popped up in the middle of the diamond. Justin Morneau coming down. He's the only guy on the right side of the infield. He makes the catch. And Lyles, other than the walk, had a very strong first frame. We'll go to the second. No score. Dickerson. Well, how dominant were the Rockies yesterday? Only one National League team had won an opening day shutout by 10-plus runs in the history of the game. 14-0 Pittsburgh over Cincinnati. Perhaps you remember it was 1911. Corey Dickerson, fourth Rocky to homer in first inning on opening day. Morneau leans on this one, but Chris Davis will cruise across and make the catch.
So to even carry that a little bit farther, the Rocky starters have had a few shutouts. You see the second shutout thrown on opening day in team history. The other was Mike Hampton. But they've thrown a few shutouts against the Milwaukee Brewers. In 01, John Thompson, how about that name from the past? Threw a complete game shutout. Then Aaron Cook, Jason Hamill, Nicasio, and then yesterday, Kyle Kendrick went out and did an excellent job against the Milwaukee Brewers.
Nolan Arenado 3 for 4 yesterday on opening day, 4 RBIs, and he, of course, hit a home run also.
And it was a great day for Nolan because I think this is the type of year that they think he'll have. And the home run that got up into the second deck, the breaking ball that he flipped into the outfield to drive in cargo. There was a lot of positives there. And Jeff, you're sitting field level now, but as a former hitter, you do understand you've got a guy on the hill in Garza that's throwing the baseball 90 to 94, touching a 95 versus a Loesch that was 87 to 91 yesterday. He didn't have the velocity. His mistakes obviously were highlighted a little bit more versus this hard thrower.
Yeah, and the thing with Garza that we're going to keep an eye on tonight is his slider. Try not to get in a position where he can throw that, because last year he allowed the third lowest batting average against in all of baseball on that slider. So look for that to be his out pitch tonight.
Well, on the other side of that, he doesn't give up the long ball. He had the 9th fewest given up a year ago in the National League. So that keeps the ball on the ground and keeps it inside the fences.
That's been a trend throughout his career. In fact, when he's made 14 or more starts in a season, which he has most seasons, he has never had an ERA over 4. 2008 National League or American League Championship Series MVP with Tampa.
That was a good piece of hitting from Nolan to foul off that slider I referenced. Hard pitch to recognize because it comes out of the hand looking like a fastball, and then at the end it just darts on you, and so you hope your bat's long enough and you can catch up to it.
This ball is hit well left center field, but Gomez will get back and make the catch. A step onto the warning track, 2 gone. We've not looked at Milwaukee defensively. They'll have Chris Davis in left, Carlos Gomez in center. Naturally, Gerardo Parra, great outfielder. He's in there for Braun. Ramirez, Segura, Jeanette, and Lind in the infield. Lind is a little bit of a suspect at first base. He's more of a DH. Jonathan Lucroy, terrific behind the plate. Corey Dickerson with the 4 ribbies yesterday. Dickerson hit this ball toward the end of the bat, and Jeff still got it out.
Well, and Jonathan Lucroy after the game commented, I think he broke his bat on that, and today Corey said, no, I just got it towards the end, and I'm going to use it again tonight.
Dickerson told me this afternoon, he goes, I guess that's a good sign when you're able to hit it out, hit it toward the end of the bat. So yeah, that's pretty good.
And not break your bat.
Outside 3-0 on Corey.
Heavy sinkers down and away, trying to get him to roll over on that pitch. Corey's doing a good job staying off of him. See the numbers a year ago, and then 2 for 5, the home run and 4 RBIs yesterday.
Yesterday with that home run, it was his 30th major league home run, and he has 634 at bats. That's basically 1 full season, and he also has driven in 97. So it gives you an idea of what he's capable of. And with 2 outs, he draws a walk. That'll bring up Nick Hundley. Rockies fans, you can join the conversation again this season. Send us your thoughts, photos, and questions via your favorite social media platform. Just use the hashtag Toyota Talk. We'll show some of your Toyota Talk comments throughout the game. Hundley swung the bat yesterday very well. He had a couple hits. Quality pass right there, 0-1.
Probably the most difficult thing to do is to come to a new ball club and learn the pitching staff, and oh, by the way, prepare as a hitter too. I mean, it's a very difficult thing to do. The longer hours of catching more bullpens than you normally would, because you're trying to find the makeup of that person both mentally and physically.
C.B. Buckner says he went around. Well, Nick's not going to go all Torrey Hunter yet on Dan Adesanya, but I thought he held up. Close.
Tough when you have that upper body rotation like that. It's so difficult for umpires to not call it. Yeah, and Torrey Hunter went off on Joe West, of all people, that tossed Papelbon about 15 feet last year.
Said, I guess Joe either had dinner plans or a concert to play. Joe West, an accomplished musician, and that was the reference by Joe.
Well, wait a minute. Well, let's stop right there. You said accomplished musician. He thinks he's a country and western singer. So don't get carried away with that. I've heard it, and I've seen it. And on a rating system, Doug, who loves music, would not go. Joe knows I love him. He just can't sing.
That ball stroked to right center field. Gomez cuts it off. Dickerson will go first to third. And the Rockies have the first hit of the game, courtesy of Nick Hundley. And that'll bring up DJ LeMahieu with 2 outs.
Well, this is a good job of hitting because the ball's up and away, and it's that slider that's cutting down and away, but a little bit elevated into the zone. Takes it into right field. Dickerson with very good speed, with a couple of outs on the board. No reason to look, more reason to hurry and get to third base. DJ LeMahieu last year, 36 RBIs on the season. Out of the 8-hole, he led the National League with 36, I should say.
And DJ takes strike 1. Couple hits and 5 at bats yesterday for LeMahieu. And this ball lined to right, but Parra is right there. So the Rockies threaten. They leave 2 aboard. Middle of 2, no score in Milwaukee.
The hill again. Jordan Lyles in the offseason. He's from Columbia, South Carolina. Worked on a new curveball. The changeup was last year, and then he took that into spring training. George, I'm not really sure what he did with the grip. Maybe you can tell the fans, but I think he moved the ball maybe back in his hand.
Well, what happens in a changeup, or I should say the curveball, excuse me, changes speeds on the curveball. A lot of guys have a tendency to get off to the side of the seam. So now when you get on top to throw it and your hand at all gets to the side, you end up with a break that's kind of going right to left and not what you want instead of the traditional 12-6. So a lot of guys screwed up on top, where now you have what we call a 3-finger pull. You've got every joint in your finger pulling on the baseball. So now you get a true over the top, and it's all about angles. It's not about getting off to the side of the ball. And particularly at Coors Field and anywhere in baseball, really, if you have the ability to get on top of the baseball so you're pulling out a true 12-6 type curveball, it's going to be that much better. But a lot of guys have a tendency to grip the ball wrong, but once you grip it right, you just let the grip do the work and put your arm in a position, and we saw it there in the dirt trying to get him to chase.
Well, he was brutally honest to me. He said, you know what, my curveball wasn't very good anyway, so he was open to changing it in any form or fashion.
Ahead of Chris Davis, 1 and 2.
Many guys work on different things from year to year to year to get better. You know, like I've said in the past, soft tapper to Lyles. It's great when you throw 95 to 100. but shake the tree and try to go figure it out. A year ago, as he should, he's going to rely heavily on that hard fastball and sinker 65% of the time. You see the slider appears there, the curveball not much, and the split finger changeup to me is the same pitch for him, and he's changed the grip on his changeup to create more of a downward action. And we talked about this in the pregame show. The bigger the hand, the more difficult it is to be able to throw a successful changeup, because you've got to be able to get comfortable with the grip on the baseball. And once you feel comfortable and confident with that grip, then you can command that pitch much better.
This Jeff Houston at the plate is Gerardo Parra. He has been a problem child for Jordan Lyles.
Well, because in the same division for a couple years, but Gerardo Parra to me is always an underrated player.
Soft liner grabbed by LeMahieu, 2 outs. He was 7 for 13 prior to that at bat against Lyles. 2 gone. Gene Segura coming up.
I didn't realize this until Dougie gave it to me. The National League average whip, walks, hits, divided by innings pitched, 1.27 a year ago in the National League. That's pretty good.
It's been going down the last couple years. What was it a few years back? Drew 1.33 and then 1.30.
Yeah, it keeps going down. A few years ago it was 1.41 in Major League Baseball.
Well, this is just the National League, the 1.27. Obviously, you have a pitcher hitting, so you're not facing. The American League was 1.28, about the same.
Again, that has come down. Recent years, we know the trend, scoring way down in Major League Baseball. Yesterday, a record was set, 6 shutouts on opening day. One, of course, came right here. 2-1.
Sonny Gray almost took a no-hitter.
He took one into the 8th inning, gave up a leadoff single. And that was the only hit he would allow.
So how do you think Mr. Latos feels down in Miami? He went 2/3 of an inning tonight, Drew, and gave up 7 runs. That's a pretty ugly night.
Yeah, that's not how he wanted to begin in his new city.
I don't think no. I don't think that he was there. 2/3, 6 hits, 7 runs. They were all earned. 2 walks and no strikeouts. Hey, how we doing?
That's going to sneak through the right side, and that's the first hit for the Brewers. Segura reaches. Some more of the news and notes from opening day 2015. Mentioned the shutouts being a record. Bartolo Colon, on his 50th birthday or so it seems, defeats Max Scherzer. Washington didn't play real tidy defense. The Mets beat Washington 3-1. 9th oldest pitcher to win an opening day game. Hanley Ramirez, Dustin Pedroia went off. Boston went off as a whole. Hanley with his new uniform on hit a couple of home runs. Jimmy Rollins, a 3-run home run in the 8th inning. He snuck inside the foul pole down the right field line. Todd Frazier hit a big 8th inning home run for the Reds as well yesterday. Scooter Gennett.
Oh, with Parra in the lineup, Gennett, as you referenced, Drew, he bat 7th yesterday, slid down to 9th to put a right-handed batter in between the two of them. Parra 7th and Gennett 9th, Segura 8th.
And quickly a 2-strike count on Gennett. Last year he had 307 against righties, just 103 against lefties. But Ricky Weeks had most of the at-bats when a lefty was on the mound. And we talked about this yesterday. Ricky Weeks is now with the Seattle Mariners. So Gennett had only 39 at-bats against left-handed pitching last year. That'll change this season. Segura can run at first, and he draws the attention of Lyles. He had 20 stolen bases last year.
He played winter ball this winter, Segura did, to try to get his swing back, and played in the Dominican Republic. Now, did not go on to the Caribbean World Series, but he did play through the 16-game round robin. Also, along with the Dominican World Series, to see who went on to the Caribbean, he played for San Francisco. Giantes is the name of their ball club.
They used to compete against the Giantes, right?
Yeah, they weren't around then. There was only 4 teams then. It's a little different. San Francisco's in the mountains.
That's what I was
up
gonna
by
say.
Aguila.
Yeah, up in the mountains of the Dominican.
Yep, about 30 minutes from Santiago.
One-two runner going, and it's slapped foul.
See if Segura takes off again.
Started to, and then put the brakes on.
A little faster to the plate was Jordan. This is where managers will put the stop sign on it, the 2-2 count. And then wait. If it is a ball, wait till the 3-2, obviously, then they'll take off there. Some managers don't like to run 2-2. They don't like to do it because they don't want to put the hitter even on a more defensive swing than he might feel at sitting at a 2-2 count.
What pitch you like here, Frazier?
I'd like to go back foot slider. I just think it's one of those he'd be difficult to hit. They went sinker or slider, changeup at 81 away.
Yep, pulled the
And
string on him.
Got the out.
Got the result he was looking for. He punches out Jeanette. Segura left at first. We move on to inning number 3. No score at Miller Park. For the third inning with George Frazier and Jeff Houston and Mark Stout. I'm Drew Goodman. Who wants tacos? If the Rockies score 7 or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. Hopefully you took advantage earlier this afternoon after the Rockies put a 10 spot up yesterday.
You know, they serve tacos in here in the lunchroom. Huey and I went through and we go, hey, we get a, no, they
Get
didn't
pay
for it. Right?
That's not right. I heard you arguing with the young lady.
I said, hey, Drew Goodman told me I get tacos for this price because we scored 7 or more runs.
Throw me under the bus. Jordan Lyles takes strike 2. Jordan, you know, can swing it. Hit a bomb last year for the Rockies. And that ball is on the ground to Segura. So round 2 against Matt Garza. Huey, did you find that an adjustment when you went from, I don't want to call him Kyle Lohse a soft tosser, but he's a guy that tops out at 90, he works more around 88, and now you have a guy who's much firmer, 5-6 miles an hour or firmer the next day. Is that an adjustment?
Not that big of an adjustment anymore, because it seems like the majority of guys are throwing that hard. I felt that when a guy threw in the mid to upper 80s, then you had to think more, I need to stay back. With a guy that throws hard, you just make sure you react, you get that foot down, and the timing is just a little bit sooner.
Well, I think the big difference, Jeff, is the fact that at 95 he can miss on the thigh level. At 88 you can't miss in the middle of the plate. But you can miss when it's a little bit quicker. I think where the adjustment will come from Rockies hitters is as you get into the game a little bit deeper and they see him for that second and third time. That's when I think you'll see him take off. Hey, get to the ballpark early. Saturday, April the 11th is the first 20,000 will receive a monthly wall calendar, all courtesy of Root Sports. We showed you yesterday, Cargo styling as he was playing in Venezuela as a youth and playing catch in the outfield.
I love that shot. And I forgot to ask him about it today. Did either one of you guys ask him about that?
No, I didn't. I just want to know where they found the shirt and the shorts to go and the socks.
I think the shorts are different, though, don't you?
They might be.
I don't think it's the same size.
No, the other one are youth baseball. Those are Ralph Lauren. Just saying.
Yeah, probably right. Cargo line to short his first time. 2 outs. Little change of pattern second time through. Garza started out Blackman with a curveball. He went change up on the first delivery to Gonzalez. Cargo has interesting numbers against Garza. He's 3 for 13. All 3 of his hits, home runs.
For a guy that doesn't give up home runs.
Good point. Yeah.
You got to remember that part, too. It's 9th fewest home runs allowed last year in the National League. 0.66 per 9 innings.
And a one hopper to short. Cargo running well, out by just half a stride. Middle of 3, no score. at this point. No score, just a hit for each club as we go to the bottom of the third inning. With every challenge called, the Subaru Eyesight Review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. There's Walt Weiss, of course, and Tommy Runnels. Matt Garza will lead things off against Jordan Lyles here in the third. And the first pitch guided in there for strike one. Here's the staff this year. There have been some changes. We alluded to it yesterday. Blake Doyle's back year 2 as a hitting coach. Steve Foster has done a great job thus far. Great reviews during spring training. Eric Young again at first. COL again at third. Darren Holmes in the bullpen, the former Rocky. And Latch is back. What is this, 52 years in baseball?
Yes.
For Latch?
52 years in a baseball uniform.
There's Steve Foster. Two and two.
Garza not much of a hitter in his career. 087.
Darren Holmes, and it's 3 and 2.
Those two have worked extremely well together. You have a guy like Foster is coming in, but Darren Holmes has been in the bullpen in Colorado before.
There's the strikeout at Garza. 2 punch outs now for Lyles. Special assistant pitching coordinator for the Royals most recently. Darren Holmes was doing biomechanics stuff in baseball recently. And the thing about Foster and the thing about Darren Holmes, George, they're relentlessly positive and they're absolutely tireless workers.
Well, and Steve's worked in the bullpen. He worked in Miami with Mark Wiley, so it wasn't like he hasn't ever been to this level. He's been here as a player, obviously, but as a coach of what it takes to get through it. But I think, you know, if you sit here and beat guys up constantly about the results or what you're doing wrong all the time, it's difficult. The more positive you are, the more positive results you're going to get out of it.
Tulo throws out Gomez, 2 gone. That'll bring up Lucroy.
And that's nothing against Jim Wright or Bo McLaughlin. They served the organization for a long, long time, but it's just time for a change. And I think they picked 2 pretty good ones to make the change with.
Lucroy fouled out to Nick Hundley his first time up. Last year, Lucroy was the starting catcher in the All-Star game. He was the first catcher and the only other catcher to start an All-Star game for the Brewers, other than an old friend of yours, still in the game up in Seattle, Teddy Simmons. I knew a smile would creep across your face, George.
Yeah,
I mentioned Simmons.
Simba was his nickname.
And he fists this one to second. Good pitch by Lyles. Strong inning, 1-2-3 again for Jordan. He's allowed just 2 base runners. So we go to the fourth, no score. Tyler Chatwood, hopefully we'll see later on, second half of the season, returning from Tommy John surgery. The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. Yesterday, Kyle Kendrick became the first pitcher with 7 or more scoreless innings to have at least 2 hits on opening day since 1998 when Todd Stottlemyre did it. Stottlemyre was with Arizona then, first year of the Diamondbacks, I believe, yep. Mel's, one of Mel's sons. Shoot, George, you almost overlapped with Mel.
No, I don't think so. When did he retire?
Doug, you'll look it up.
Great should pitcher. Pop off too soon here.
Yeah, great pitcher for the Yankees in the 60s. Tulowitzki will lead it off. He had a drive to fairly deep right field his first time up. Gets a curveball, and he blisters this to right center. It's going to get down, and it runs past Gomez. And Tulo will cruise into second with a double.
Not a good route from Gomez, but it was more to do with the ball flight off of the bat of Troy.
Huey, it looked like he was sitting breaking ball or something off speed.
Well, if he was, it was because he knew what he did to Charlie Blackmon. He knew what he did to Carlos Gonzalez the second time he faced him. So I guarantee you he went up there sitting, okay, off speed, because that's what he did to the 2 guys in front of me.
Well, I'll say this, too. That was a hanger. I mean, that ball stayed up about belt high. So it didn't have the good depth or break or velocity there. And you can see the all-time doubles by a Rocky. He has tied Vinny Castilla 208.
He's got 3 already this year. Curveball, he starts to Morneau, and that misses ball 1.
All right, Stottlemyre retired in 74. I just came in summer of 76.
See, I wasn't that far apart.
No, you weren't that far apart.
Just saying.
It was a golden era of baseball, Huey. I got to play with all these.
I
got to play with all the Hall of Famers.
Yes, you did.
That was the fun part.
Justin looking for his first hit of the season. There's the irony of day one, right? The Rockies throw out 16 hits, 10th spot on the board, and the batting champ from a year ago goes 0 for 5. He's the only guy that didn't have a knock.
Exactly. Hit a couple of balls hard, just came up empty-handed.
I think he'll be okay. Inside 2-1. And that is way up high. 3-1. The first upside down counts for Matt Garza.
You know, it's kind of funny. I mean, you look at some guys' stuff, like Samardzin with the Chicago Cubs. Great stuff, right, Huey? I mean, just tremendous stuff. Never wins. You know, why don't they win? Why don't they win big number games? Why don't they win that 12 to 15 games? But they don't. I realize some of it is you're on a bad ball club. I get a little bit of that.
And Morneau unable to advance to Tulowitzki, 1 out. And that'll bring up Arenado.
The Twins weren't that bad in 06, 7, and 8. Tampa won 15 games one time in 2010.
That was the year that he pitched into the playoffs.
Right. But, I mean, it's just, you know, you see some guys with great stuff, they just don't win. You know, you talk about the back of the bubblegum card for hitters, telling you what they're going to end up by the end of the year, and pretty much holds up true for a lot of pitchers, too.
Outside on Nolan. Deep drive to center field to the warning track that Gomez caught in the second. Seeing Garza tonight for the first time in his career. Down the line, foul. 2-1. No swing. They check it out with C.B. Buckner. That swing pitch, that 1-1 count, Huey.
It's big. It's big. I mean, you know the numbers on it where it jumps up 100 points if you're 2-1 compared to 1-2. But just for the mind of a hitter, it's so much bigger than that. That was a pure guess swing from Nolan. I'm guessing fastball. I'm going to swing and try to make it a 2-0 game.
Dickerson on deck. Leadoff double by Tulowitzki. No score. We always hear this term, keep your hands inside the baseball, stay connected. And Jeff, I think Nolan does it as well as anybody in a Rockies uniform.
Well, and that's why he did, what was it, 54 times he struck out last year, or some ridiculously low number?
Yeah, 58, 432 at bats.
Just for that reason, that he doesn't get his hands too far away from his body or out in front, and they stay connected and keep their elbows in closer to the side.
This ball roped to left. That'll get the job done. It'll run to the wall. Nolan Arenado drives in Troy Tulowitzki, and the Rockies take a 1-0 lead. Boy, that was a good AB, Frase.
Fun to watch that. I mean, he got a fastball after seeing a breaking ball in the dirt. The guards had just tried to come at him. Another look at it from center field to Nolan Arenado at home plate. After fighting off a number of pitches, there's that hard sinker trying to get under the bat. Watch Nolan drop his body down and go get this pitch. Really kept his head right on it and drove in his 5th run of the season already.
RBI opportunity for Corey Dickerson, who walked in the 2nd and would get as far as 3rd after a Nick Hundley base hit. And he takes a home run hack. No baseball. It's 0-1. Dickerson, one of 3 Rockies in the lineup tonight that owns a career average over 400 against Milwaukee. Dickerson hitting .421 against the Brewers. Tulowitzki and Blackman also over 400. It's foul.
I was watching Aramis Ramirez on that ball, and he didn't think there was any way that Corey was going to hit the ball to his free hand down the line. I mean, he looked at that like, wait, where did that come from?
Yeah. Let me correct something. Not Blackman. Arenado, I meant to say, is the other Rocky that's hitting over 400 in their career against Milwaukee. 2-strike count on Dickerson.
That was a good secondary lead from Nolan.
It was an aggressive secondary lead, and it was a tremendous block by Lucroy. It's one thing to block the baseball. It's another to keep it right in, a 2 or 3 foot ring so you can pick it up and still have a play on a runner trying to advance. And that's why Arenado, who got the great secondary lead that Jeff described, had to jam on the brakes. It's a big 90 feet saved from Milwaukee's perspective. I mean, it changes the entire at bat. You're talking about a runner at 3rd with 1 out. Now if you get it in play, a lot of chances you're going to score that run. That's how big a block that was by Lucroy.
Well, and Ron Renicky might have to bring the infield in. I mean, because this game has been so tightly pitched.
One and 2 on Dickerson. Rockies up 1-0. And that's down the left field line. That'll score another. Arenado cruising home. Dickerson hustling towards 2nd. He's in with the Rockies' 3rd double of the frame. 2-0 Colorado.
Has a little bit of a familiar ring from yesterday when they had double home run. They were able to put a couple on the board. And again, here's Corey Dickerson on a fastball in. He got beat earlier They come right back trying to do it again, but it ran back over the plate very high up into the strike zone, and he shot it right past Ramirez. And then Arenado, all he needed to do was jog from third and make sure he touched home. It was a 2-0 Rockies lead.
Dickerson was concerned because he had given up the RBI lead on the team to Arenado, and he wanted to make sure he got even with him. They both have driven in 5 here in the first day and a half. Nick Hundley hit a sharp single to right center his first time up.
Well, and like yesterday for Corey, he did the no stride. Remember Jimmy Edmonds did that probably as good as anybody, where he just lift the heel up and put it back down, and that's what Corey did on that swing.
And he doesn't do it every time with 2 strikes, because on his home run it was a 1-2 pitch yesterday and he lifted.
Just what he feels comfortable with. Does he feel that the pitcher's going to have more on it than what he expected, just to use the hands? Or sometimes you think, oh, I'm just going to guess a pitch and that's when I'm going to use my leg kick.
This ball up the middle, base hit. This will get Dickerson home. Nick Hundley makes it 3-0. And these are great road at bats. And Jeff, I think you know what I'm talking about here.
21 wins on the road last year for Colorado. Now you come out, that season's over with, it's done, you're coming into a new year. The at-bats we're seeing from these guys, at least in the first couple games, are not big wild swings. They're make contact swings. And these are backbreakers to the opposing pitcher. Because he said, wow, I thought I made a good pitch. But no, he stays centered again. That's 2 times tonight for Nick Hundley, where he's gone from right center field, maybe more to a little bit straight up center field.
You know what I like about it, Jeff, is because they are on the road. You're out where balls are going to break more than what they do at altitude, and they're hitting the ball hard. Whether it be a curveball, slider, fastball, it really doesn't matter. They're hitting the ball hard.
All this second time through the lineup. It began with a Tulowitzki double. Then a double by Arenado, double by Dickerson, and the sharp single by Hundley. And DJ LeMahieu takes an aggressive swing.
Garza's just happy they quit coming in pairs. It was 3 doubles that scored. He got a chance to maybe get a double play by keeping Hundley at first. There wasn't another double.
DJ took a swing like he still hacked off about last night's national championship game. That's toward the gap in right center field. It'll be cut off by Parra. Hundley stops at second. Another base hit for the Rockies. They're 5th in the inning. Now Lyles, play it, try to get a bunt down, put 2 more in scoring position.
Yeah, another look at it. Fastball away. DJ did a nice job, as he usually does, on that ball away. Hits the line drive out into right field and hit so hard that Hundley couldn't try to advance, even though it was into right center. The Rockies 10 for 22 with runners in scoring position this season. They're 3 for 5 so far today.
Well, if they stay around 500 this year, I think they're going to win like 135 games. And that would be a record of sorts. We don't even need Doug to check.
No, that's not of sorts. It would be a record, period. 100, yeah, that would be a big record.
Yeah, never to be broken.
No.
He pulled the bunt back, 1-1.
It's a little different alignment for the Brewers. Jeanette was sprinting over to first. Ramirez was hanging around the bag, and Segura just went into that 5-6 hold and stopped.
Man, they think it must be thinking slug bunt. I mean, I don't have any idea. A guy throwing hard, though, you'd think Jeanette would stay there. They got to get the one out somewhere.
George, as a reliever, you weren't called upon to do this very much because you get a lot of at-bats, but He's worried about fingers when pitcher's laying down bunts.
You got to hit the right way. You got to grip the bat the right way.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get crazy with it. Every year it seems like somebody's finger gets busted, though.
He pulls it back again. Runners were moving. The slug bunt. It's 2-2. Nice luxury for Walt with a lead here in the middle innings to be able to put a play like that on, Huey.
Well, and a guy you have confidence can handle that responsibility.
Jordan took a long look at Stu Cole, see if the bunt was still on. You'd assume it would be. Nope. And he strikes out.
Come enjoy opening weekend at Coors Field when the baseball returns to 20th Blake. Get your tickets for the April 11th, 12th today. The Chicago Cubs will be in town. It's a big weekend with the Cubbies coming in and Joe Madden. Has Chris Bryant spent enough time down there yet?
Not quite yet.
Has he got another week?
Well, the Cubs were rained out tonight, so they had to rearrange their rotation for the weekend.
So now you should get the lefty on Saturday instead of Friday.
Now Travis Wood's going to throw on Friday.
Travis Wood's a pretty good two-way player.
Yeah.
He can hit.
No John Lester for the weekend.
Rats. With 2 outs, Blackman, and here's the 0-1. Charlie hits it on the ground to short, and Segura flips to Jeanette. Strong inning for the Rockies. 3 runs on 5 hits. 3 of the hits were doubles. 3-0 Rockies, middle of 4.
Three runs in the top of the inning. We want to go back to last year and show you some of his stats from 2014. He led the team in home runs with 24, despite playing only in 131 games. Extra base hits, how about 57? 43% of his career hits have gone for extra bases, and his OPS was first among outfielders at 960, guys. I talked to Corey Dickerson because I said, you know, last year you hit 381 against the NL Central, and he went, all shucks, is that all I hit against him? He's off to a great start against the Brewers this year. And when I asked Walt Weiss yesterday in the postgame, how do you describe how he hits? He said, well, he swings hard in case he hits it. And that's what he does. It's hard to really put a finger on the way that Corey Dickerson hits. But I know, George, you said he's got such bat speed, he can just cover the entire plate.
He's got great hand-eye coordination, too. He's always had that. Every time I've seen him play, since all the way back to High A through Tulsa, and before he got here to the big leagues, it's the hand-eye coordination that's very, very good, and then you've got bad speed and strength to go with it.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Adam Lind at the plate.
If you play hitter, they'll find a place for you at the big league level.
Well, so far, Dickerson has come through every time he's had an RBI situation this year. And that's a man in scoring position. Lind hits this ball to deep center field. Blackman thinks he has a play and can't catch it. Lind hunting third. Throw there. He's out. He's going to get him. He's out. What a relay by the Rockies. And Adam Lind is cut down, trying to stretch that double into a triple. And that turns into a Cardinal sin, especially being down by 3 runs.
You can see Charlie take off. Great effort trying to get to the baseball to make the original play, but it's all about hitting the cutoff man and how helpful it is that you have a former shortstop playing second base, because he has the arm streak to fire a bullet to Nolan and the diving tag by Nolan to get Lind. But it's all about the relays and being in position to be able to make these plays.
Good umpire rotation, Jeff, as
yes.
well.
I mean, this was worked perfectly by the umpires, by the Rockies, everybody involved. And for me, it was the throw of DJ, obviously, but how quickly he caught it and got rid of it. There wasn't an extra step where he would shuffle his feet. He basically catches it. Watch this, boom, and just loads up on that right leg and gets rid of it that quick.
The reason we're talking about umpire rotation is the second base umpire has to go out and check on the catch. The third base umpire is going to have the second base back. That was Dan Iasanya, who has home plate tonight, who was down at third base and made that call, and you can tell he was in perfect position. (0-2), and it's chopped to Nolan.
One more look at this relay. First, Charlie getting rid of it, hits the cutoff man. There's no hop. Ball doesn't skip. And that was like a transfer from DJ at second base on a double play. That's the same type of motion that you have. No wasted motion at all.
I love watching relays and even, you know, double cuts, Huey, when it's played that way and when it's set up that way and the ball doesn't short hop an infielder.
Or he has to jump forward, anything like that.
It's a thing of beauty. Rockies employing the shift here with Chris Davis. They did that yesterday 8 times. Fouled off. So the Rockies were dead last in shifts deployed a year ago. And here's why it's done. In 2014, ground balls and short liners, as a description, against a standard alignment, teams hit .266. Ground ball short liners against the shift, a 32-point deficit in terms of what the hitters produced as a batting average. And right there, perfectly illustrated, that's a base hit. Instead, it's a ground ball 4-3, and the Rockies are off the field. We go to the top of the 5th inning. Colorado 3 and Milwaukee 0. and just 2 hits. And the Rockies will have Cargo, Tulo, and Morneau here in the 5th inning. 3rd look at Matt Garza. That's Dan Iasanya, who's working home plate. He's 13th year in the big league. C.B. Buckner, Lance Barrett, Dale Scott, the rest of the crew. And Dan wanting updates, I'm sure, on how the UConn women have done tonight against Notre Dame, trying for the three-peat. He's a graduate of the University of Connecticut, Storrs, an English major there, and that is a base hit. It's going to roll toward the corner. Cargo's going to have at least 2. The Rockies have been an absolute doubles machine so far here in 2015.
Dougie, I need to know how many doubles, the most doubles hit in the first 1.5 games to start a season. How about another one down the right field line? Oh my gosh, these guys are laying some hammer and they're hitting it into the parts of the field where nobody else is playing and taking advantage of it.
Tulo had the first double, leading off the 4th inning. He'll try to bring in his buddy here. With the Rockies ahead 3-0. 7 hits for Colorado, just 2 for Milwaukee. Boy, he liked that pitch. That was up in the happy zone.
Yeah. Your eyes light up.
Up the middle with eyes, base hit. Here comes Cargo making the turn home. Tulo's brought him home. Make it 4-0 Colorado. It's fun, isn't it? That's what Nolan said to Cargo right there.
It's a lot of fun to sit back and watch this team swing the bats. They've hit Milwaukee 8-2 in this ball game and now lead at 4-0. Good sinker in from Garza. Tulowitzki really upright stance, taking the biggest part of the ballpark. Take advantage of it. Cargo can run and got a 4th spot on the board again.
Second ribby this year for Troy. Justin has hit a fly ball to left twice in this game. Well, a year ago, Morneau, as you're aware, won a batting title, being another Rocky to win that batting title. 14 Rocky in the last 8 seasons. Well, that couldn't be right. 8th Rocky in the last 14 seasons is what we mean. Hit 327 at home, hit 309 out on the road.
And how many people, if you were to ask him, would have said that he would have hit over 300 out on the road? They said, oh yeah, he would have hit 390 at Coors Field, 250 on the road. I mean, that's the first thing you hear.
Yeah, and I remember in 2013, Cargo led the National League in road OPS. Again, on base plus slugging percentage. Four nothing Colorado, nobody out in the 5th inning. Morneau rips this one to right, and he still can't buy a hit. Parra fires it back in, and that misses Adam Lynn. Morneau now 0 for 8. He's put it in play every time. Good running catch by Gerardo Parra. So Arenado will come up. Deep fly ball to center field and an RBI double to left. Nolan looking forward to seeing his family. They'll be coming in from the West Coast for the home opener and the weekend festivities as the Rockies take on the Cubs.
Weather's supposed to be nice this weekend.
It's supposed to be gorgeous. Heard mid-70s on Friday.
That was all brought to you by me. Y'all were asking on the way in, what's it going to be like this weekend? You all live in Denver. Y'all not look at the weather?
We trust that you're going to let us know.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right. I just
You
wondered.
looked at the Farmer's Almanac, right, George?
Drew's asking Jeff and I, do I need a top coat? Is it going to be cold in Denver this weekend? Well, it's right there on your phone, pal. You can read it like the rest of us.
That wasn't a slight embellishment. That was a large embellishment.
I know.
But
Jeff,
go with
Jeff
it.
And I
This is
Jeff
entertaining.
and I came up with a new nickname for you that we really both, and we talked about it, but we did come up with a new nickname for you.
Here's the 2-0. Fouled off.
You want to know what it is?
No, not really.
Red light.
You
You got another one today.
They're optional sometimes. No. What are you talking about? That was a yellow light.
It's 2 today. It's 2 in a row, 2 days. Fans at home don't really care, but Drew really likes to run red lights, and we'll just leave it at that.
That is another embellishment. 2 balls and a strike on Arenado. And Nolan with a comebacker to Garza, who for some reason elected to just get the out at first. Thank you.
Takes 3.
Yeah. He thought the inning was over. We're going to play 3 outs, Matt.
I guarantee you he thought the inning was over, and now all of a sudden you got to regroup yourself mentally. Get on the mound.
Well, and that's why Jonathan Lucroy is out there. And that's just a guy that's been hit around in the last 2 innings and just forgot.
They could pay for it right now because Dickerson's at the plate.
Well, I can remember back in the days of the minor leagues, if you let something like that happen, oh my goodness, it was not pretty.
No.
You know, and I remember managers going up and down the dugout going, what happened when he came up in the 3rd? You better have the right answer.
Boy,
how did he catch that?
I don't know. That thing was about 52 feet, and now another meeting. Garza, for being a good athlete, has never been known as a great fielder, and he's one of those pitchers. And there's a lot of these guys, Frazier, that struggle throwing the baseball. Here's the that looked like a cross-up too.
Yeah, I don't care about that, Drew. I really don't. He knows he screwed up.
Oh,
There's only one out.
Because
you pick and fire. I mean, he didn't skip trying to get a double play so he could flip to first.
No,
I mean, you know,
and they should be off the field because that's a double play ball.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you know, you mentioned that some guys don't want to throw the ball. Well, in that situation, you don't have any time to think about it. You just grab fire and throw it over second base, and you better be there to turn it.
1 ball, 1 strike on Dickerson. I'll tell you an interesting story about Corey. I don't know how many people know about. Corey was drafted twice by the Rockies out of Meridian Community College in Meridian, Mississippi. He was drafted in the 29th round after his freshman year, did not sign. That was the year Tyler Matzik was the #1 pick. And then the next year, after being a first-team junior college All-American, the Rockies took him in the 8th round and convinced him to sign instead of heading on to Mississippi State. They are glad they did. And he's glad he did. Ramirez will make the catch, and the mental lapse by Garza did not hurt him, but the Rockies do get another run. Double by Cargo, single by Tulowitzki. 4-0 Rockies. Take a look at our first bank game recap. The Rockies up 4-0. Jordan Lyles has been outstanding. Nolan Arenado, Corey Dickerson up to their old tricks. 5 ribbies first couple of games. Tulo has 3 doubles. Fourth Rocky ever with 3 doubles in the first 2 games. He also has an RBI single. Cargo has a double. The Rockies have gotten after Matt Garza here in the middle innings. Bottom of the 5th, Gerardo Parra, Gene Segura, and Scooter Gennett against Jordan Lyles. And that is a base hit to left. See if Corey can cut it off. Knocks it down. Parra will still end up with a double on the head first slide.
Gerardo Parra's been doing this throughout his career. He'll take this ball away from him, hit it and slice it down the left field line. Corey tries to get over and slide to keep it from going to the wall. Hits off the heel of his glove, does knock it down. Lets it go right off the heel. By the time he picks it up, Parra would have had second base anyway, as hard as he was running out of the box.
I got to figure Parra was going to play tonight regardless of whether Ryan Braun had gotten hurt yesterday or not. It probably would have come with Chris Davis sitting down, and he would have played left field.
He's now 8 for 15 off Lyles.
Yep. That's a first pitch strike on Gene Segura.
Nick Hundley immediately calling for the trainers.
He was an off-speed pitch, thankfully. Not that it's not scary when somebody gets hit there. Look at that, Segura pops up. Well, that's great news. It looked like, we'll have to look at it again, it looked like a curveball that got away.
Just doing all the normal concussion checks, make sure everything's okay so he can stay in this baseball game, or head to that locker room to get further treatment looked at by a medical doctor. Yeah, you look out and caught him right on got a little bit of the corner of that helmet, or it could have been a whole lot worse. Yeah, and you see Nick's results. I mean, he's waving for somebody to get out of that dugout in a hurry.
So 2 men on for the first time tonight for Milwaukee. Nobody out. Scooter Gennett at the plate.
Garza in the on-deck circle. Thornburg is up throwing in their bullpen in case they decide to go to the bench down 4-0, which I would anticipate.
Just outside. Their only left-handed bat is Logan Schaefer. They said, and that may have been for the purposes of gamesmanship with the Rockies, that Ryan Braun is available. If he is available, you would assume they'd hold him back to the late innings. But I think they'd like to stay away from him entirely tonight. Was there a swing? Yes.
I was wondering what he waited for.
Yeah, I was with Dan. Dan didn't even look to call him, punch him out. Gwinnett swung, spun around out of the box, was looking out like, hey, I didn't do that. check down with Dale Scott. He got it.
One and one to count on Jeanette. Ground ball toward the hole. Can they get anybody? Nope.
Yeah, they caught the edge of Nolan's gloves. What it looked like. Is that what happened, Jim?
From this angle, it appeared so. And it's a hard ball if you're thinking at home, well, why didn't Troy call him off? You can't hear it. There's enough crowd noise where you would not be able to hear it. And you also see the positioning of Troy and where he was. He was up the middle more with the left-handed hitter. So a third baseman's taught just to keep going whenever you can.
Well, doesn't the third baseman take it if he can get it?
Yeah, because this is an easy flip. If he catches it, see where DJ is? I mean, that's an easy out at second base.
Logan Schaefer will be the pinch hitter. 28-year-old outfielder who was in a battle to make the club. Really close with he and Matt Clark, power hitting first baseman. Nobody out, and it's outside. So this is the opportunity for Milwaukee to get back in the ball game. Clearly 4-0 Rockies. We're in the fifth. Rockies would gladly trade a run for a pair of outs here.
Schaefer through his career has had his spurts of having success, but it's really most of it come with the bases loaded. He's 3 for 8.
And that's a double play ball. Out at first. That was big.
And that's a watch home. Oh, they called time.
They called time. Segura was coming down the line.
Down
He
here,
didn't realize time had been called because Logan Schaefer pointed to the dugout. And now Ron Renicky has come out. To challenge, you don't have to come out of the dugout this year. It's one of the changes with reviews.
But I'm sure he's asking, why was there a timeout called?
That's what he's asking now, but it also buys time for his video guys to determine whether or not he wants to challenge.
I don't know who called timeout.
That's what I want. If nobody had called time, I mean, who did call the timeout?
Maybe Nick did. And that wasn't an easy ball for DJ. He got an in-between hop.
Let's look at that play again at first. Wow. Really close, called out, and it's going to stay that way. Into the box with 2 outs is Gomez. 4-1 with Segura at third. Huey, that wasn't the easiest ball to turn a double play on for DJ. Down the line, fair ball. That'll make it 4-2. And Gomez, who runs exceptionally well, will have a double.
First RBIs of the season for Gomez. In the leadoff spot, he has pulled that hard sinker right down the third base line out of the reach of everyone. Trying to take it away from the right-handed hitting Gomez, and the ball ran right back to the middle of the strike zone and allowed him to put a pretty good swing on the baseball and take it right down the third base line. Nowhere for Nolan to make a play.
Got to put it down right here, and you got a tough out, Jonathan Lucroy.
And for a pitcher, I will tell you, when you hit a hitter in the face, whether it's with a curveball, slider, changeup, it doesn't matter. It does shake you a little bit. All the tough guys can say whatever they want to say, but that's the last thing you're trying to do as a pitcher, is to hit somebody in the head area and do those kind of things. It's not 1965 playing with Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale, and it really does affect. You wonder what effect it may have happened on Lyles after hitting Segura. LaCroix has yet to get a hit in his career against Jordan Lyles. He's 0 for 11.
Lucroy, who finished 4th in the MVP voting a year ago, behind Kershaw, Stanton, and McCutchen. Hold foul, 1-1. There's the voting of the top 5. Anthony Rendon of Washington finished 5th. Foul out and a ground ball to second for Lucroy in the game. And this one is grabbed by Morneau. On the move, he gets it to Lyles covering to close the inning. 2 runs in the inning for Milwaukee. Rockies lead at 4-2. We're on to the 6th. This is brought to you by the Ford Fusion. Power you want and good looks too. Ford, go further. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Downtown Milwaukee, we're a few minutes from there. Milwaukee River. Rockies leading 4-2 as we go to the 6th inning in relief of Matt Garza, who went 5 innings, gave up all 4 runs. Earned runs. It's Tyler Thornburg, who last year appeared in 27 ball games. Walked a lot of folks.
Well, he has done that, but he does throw a lot of sinkers, and it's just right now to eat up a couple of innings for us. You know, it's so important in a bullpen to have a guy that can maintain a game. And what I mean is he's entering the game here in the 6th inning. Keep it 4-2. Don't let it all of a sudden become a 6-7-2 ball game.
Nick Hundley, a pair of singles. He's 2 for 2. He drove in a run with a single to center his last time up. 7, 8, 9 for the Rockies.
I'm laughing at Dougie. Remember I threw that little thing out, most doubles in a game and a half, right? First 2 games of a regular season ever happened. And this game isn't over. Right, could be changing. Could change, Dougie. The record is 11, set in 1951. The Chicago White Sox.
11 doubles first 2 games.
Right. Rockies are second in 2015 with 10 doubles. And this game isn't over with yet. Pirates in 82 had 10. The Pirates in 60 had 10. Philadelphia in 48. And the Pirates again in 36. What was up with the Pirates? So anyway, just so you know, Drew, could tie the record for most doubles in the first 2 games to start a season in the history of baseball.
I like their chances. 12 more outs to work with.
And you think I just sent Dougie on these goose chases for the fun of it?
I do think that.
No, he
2-2.
enjoys it.
Kyle Kendrick gave Nick Hundley a whole bunch of credit for what Nick did in receiving him yesterday and being on the same page with Kendrick.
So I want the stat to be looked up next, is how many times they shake a catcher off in their starts.
This ball's well hit to left. If it gets down, it is the 11th double that you were asking for.
See, there you go. Tied it right there. How about it?
Oh, you were very timely, Fresh.
How'd you like that,
Yeah,
Dougie?
that's
See
nice.
all that work
Nicely
right
done.
there? Did you even think about that?
No,
No, you didn't.
I was
No,
more
you
concerned.
didn't.
I was
Just
more
say-
concerned with Dougie
just
trying to
say
figure out how many
no.
guys in a game and a half.
I didn't. Just say, no, I didn't. Hundley again coming up with a big base hit. This on a ball out over the plate, a breaking ball that stayed up into the zone, got the head out of the out, and just drove this thing to left field, off the wall, just missed getting out of the ballpark by about 3 feet.
This is a big sequence coming up here. We always talk about Jeff Houston counter-punching. Milwaukee finally got on the board. They hadn't scored yet this year. They got on the board. They have the Rockies lead, get a little momentum on their side. Rockies got to get this run home.
Well, and that's always what you're looking for in a dugout. Okay, they got a couple runs, they're back within 2. How do we respond? And then when you do, and you put up another run, maybe 2 runs, the other team's like, oh man, all that work, and we're back to where we were a couple innings ago, down by 4.
Here's the 0-1. In tight. Two and 1.
Nice job of laying off of that pitch from DJ.
And because, Jeff, Jeanette's got to keep Hundley, who's a good athlete. He's not a flyer, obviously, but he's got to keep him in the neighborhood of second base. DJ, who goes to the right side so well, has a large opening on that side of the field. And there it goes, right through that opening. Base hit now. Hundley will shut it down at third. First and third, nobody out.
That's a great piece of hitting from DJ, but I'm surprised that the shortstop wasn't holding Hundley on and Scooter over into that hole with nobody out. Either way, you're going to take it.
Is that a defensive shift?
Yeah, that's a defensive shift that didn't work. I mean, it worked in the Rockies' favor, because what's DJ trying to do? He's trying to hit the ball to the right side. That's what he did. I'm not saying even if Scooter was over there that he would have caught that ball because it was hit so hard.
Well, all you can do is look at the spray charts where guys hit pitches most of the time, and it tells you where you ought to really kind of play defensively. And more importantly, the situation dictated that.
That was a situation where the shortstop should have been holding him on.
Lyles trying to get a bunt down. It's 0-1. And that's going to go foul, 0-2.
Follow the Rockies. Follow live the Rockies baseball in 2015 with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet, featuring scores, stats, highlights, and a whole lot more. Download MLB.com at bat today.
Last time up for Jordan, they took the bunt sign off with 2 strikes.
He's bunting, and he fouls that off again, so it's a punch out. And now with 1 out, Blackman will come up. Rockies have Brooks Brown, hard-throwing right-hander who emerged last year late in the season.
Charlie, last year, 320 with runners in scoring position. He's got a chance here.
Takes a strike. Charlie 0 for 3 this evening. 1 for 5 yesterday. Did reach on an error yesterday.
Charlie might have hurt his hand on this swing. Immediately after the swing, he fouled the back, started shaking his hand. And it could have been just, sometimes when you swing and your hand gets over-rotated, especially the top one, it'll pinch the bottom hand. It'll pinch that thumb.
0-2. Couldn't get him to chase. 1 and 2. Cargo on deck. Rockies up 4-2. Runners on the corners with 1 out in the 6th. Leadoff double by Hundley. The Rockies' 11th double in their first 2 ball games, tying a major league record. DJ LeMahieu at first. He singled to right.
Now last year, Thornburg only had 1 double play in 29 1/3 innings. In his career, he's only had 8 in 120 innings. Doug, that's not very good. Fly ball kind of guy. Elevated fastball. We just saw it earlier.
Looks like a 4-seam guy.
Charlie couldn't get to it. Well, you better not walk 28, 21 innings.
If I'm DJ, I might look to take off. Possibly on a steal, or anticipate a ball down in the dirt so you can advance to second.
Well, maybe Thornburg thinking the same thing. 26-year-old out of Charleston Southern. He's another one of those guys, and it happens frequently in baseball. We've seen it in the Rockies organization and every organization in the game. He was a starting pitcher for a long period of time in his development and then got moved to the pen. There was the dirt ball, but again, it's smothered by Lucroy. He has saved clearly a couple of bases in this game with real efficient blocks of the baseball.
Well, smothered so much, George, that it doesn't even get out there where he just reaches for it with his bare hand.
Well, that's the greatest part about it. He just kills the baseball, and he really gets the block way back up under his body. So that prevents from ricocheting off the glove, the chest protector, a number of other things, and scoot away from it.
Runner going, and there's the stolen base for DJ that you were talking about.
Well, without the third to first movement that Major League Baseball took away last year, it makes it easier for the guy at first base. He doesn't even have to worry about it anymore.
You know, the only concern I had on that whole deal of him stealing the base, if it's Charlie swing and miss and they throw him out, and you got those two guys right behind him with Gonzalez and Tulowitzki, the way they're swinging right now, and take the hole away from Cargo at first, that's the only concern I had of doing it if you get thrown out.
3-2, and that's ball 4. They're loaded up for Gonzalez. I'm with you, Jeff. You alluded to that, and I don't understand why Major League Baseball eliminated the third to first move.
I don't know why either. It does put the advantage back to that runner at first. And then that very rarely worked, but it was still in the back of your mind.
Pace the game. I just like to be able to use the move, because you know what? You go, oh, you never get anybody. And sure enough, about 3 times a year you catch some guy.
Cargo out in front of the off-speed pitch. It's 0-1. Cargo doubled and scored in the 5th, lined out in the 1st, and hit a ground ball to short in the 3rd. 1 for 3 tonight. Chance to get those 2 runs back for the Rockies here in the 6th. Colorado had a 4-0 lead. Milwaukee scored 2 in the bottom of the 5th. Outside. Again, Nick Hundley, who's 3 for 3 tonight, led off with a double. DJ singled, stole second, and Charlie Blackmon, who's at first, just walked after being behind 0-2. 1-1 on Cargo. 4 runs, 10 hits for the Rockies. This will get a run home. Davis will make the catch. DJ's going to move up. Blackmon will move up, and Cargo makes it 5-2.
Davis doesn't have a very good arm in the outfield, so you can take advantage of it, and everybody advance on a ball that's hit to left field. The throw back in was not very good. Well, they're having fun right now. What if Nick Hundley understands that he tied a major league record with that 11th double? You think?
Probably not.
Okay. He will. Doug's going to go tell him right after the game.
Troy's 2 for 3, a double in the 4th and an RBI single in the 5th. After a 3 for 5 opening day. On the corner.
That's how you answer. You get at least one of the 2 runs back, and hopefully you get more.
And as you described, great base running.
Yes.
To put another runner in scoring position. Troy had some drop and drive on that pitch on the inner half. 2 strikes. LeMahieu at third. Blackmon at second.
When you give Jordan Lyles a chance to just sit down and catch his breath. It's a little chilly down here at field level. That's why he has a jacket on. You thinking dome cold? Yes, it is.
This is on the ground to Segura. Long throw, and he'll get to Lewinsky. In the inning, the Rockies get a couple hits and a run on the sac fly by Cargo. 5-2 Rockies. Moments every night at Miller Park. 5-2 Rockies. We'd like to welcome all of our charter viewers from Grand Junction, Colorado. Thanks for watching the Rockies on Root Sports. Home of the Grand Junction Rockies. Short season A-ball team. They'll be in action this summer.
There's a 3rd-generation family from Grand Junction on our flight on Sunday that was coming in just to watch opening day. Then they flew back out, went home last night. So if you're watching tonight, You caught a good ball game.
They caught a great ball game. Adam Lind, a walk and a double. Lind 3 hits yesterday. 3, 4, and 5 here in the bottom of the 6th inning for Milwaukee, trailing by 3 runs. That was the 70th pitch. Christian Friedrich's up. We saw Christian pitch the 9th inning yesterday.
And he started warming up on the back end of this inning. That ball hit hard to left field and fade into the seats. Christian was warming up as the top half of the 6th inning.
One, 2, and that's fouled off. Here's an interesting graphic we're going to show you on Jordan Lyles. And again, it's a reminder just how young he is. Wins by pitchers 24 years or younger. Jordan's already won 21 games. Only 3 guys with more on that list. Julio Teheran of the Atlanta Braves, #1. Henderson Alvarez, Shelby Miller.
Pretty good names.
Shelby now in Miami. In the air, left field, deep. Dickerson has a play.
And that's the improved play at Corey in left field, because he turned and ran to a spot and then found that ball again. Just watch the break at Corey. So he takes off, turns his back, no problem. I mean, that's the one thing you learn as an outfielder, and to trust yourself that you've done enough work. If I turn and I lose sight of the ball for a second, that I'm going to be able to pick it up. But it only comes through hard work.
That misses ball 1 on Ramirez. Shelby Miller's in Atlanta, not in Miami. Shelby Miller went to Atlanta as part of that Jason Hayward deal. Inside, 2-0. Tough chance here, but Corey will make the running catch. Well done. And with 2 outs, that'll bring up Chris Davis. Rockies have been utilizing the shift with Chris Davis every time he's come up. He hit into the shift in the 4th inning, hit a ball up the middle, but it was right at DJ LeMahieu. And can DJ get there? Pop to your feet, make a throw. How about that? Oh, you gotta love it. And that's why more teams are employing the shift on certain players. A 1-2-3 6th inning for Jordan Lyles with a little help from the Gold Glover, DJ LeMahieu. Doesn't matter where he's positioned.
Of course, he won the Gold Glove at second base last year with the shift. This is why he's got a Gold Glove. DJ's got ties to Wisconsin. His dad's side of the family is from Sheboygan. And Drew, you mentioned yesterday he was going to watch the Wisconsin Badgers. He did watch the game last night with some of his teammates. Dad was disappointed. I said, is your dad a Brewers fan? He said, no, because his grandfather came here before the Braves got here from Boston, so he was a Cubs fan. And I said, well, your family must have been excited when the Cubs drafted you. He said, yeah, but now my dad hates the Cubs because they traded his favorite player to the Rockies. So he's all about the Rockies now. But he grew up a Cubs fan just because he wasn't here when the Braves got here.
I understand all that.
I'm totally confused.
Now, DJ spent 6 years in Madison. We talked about that yesterday. He's a big Wisconsin fan.
Could you explain that again, Mark?
His grandfather got here.
I'm kidding you.
Before the Braves got here from Boston.
I'm kidding. And I appreciate it.
He was a Cubs fan.
Morneau lines this ball left center field. Finally. He eludes an outfielder and has his first hit of 2015. He was chance they may have had to send him down.
Doug, Drew's not even thinking. 12th double.
New major league record.
Yeah.
So, George, at this pace, the Rockies will have over 900
It's going to be
doubles
pretty good.
this year.
That's right. It's going to be pretty good. That fastball up in the zone. The Rockies have done a nice job of getting on top of this baseball up in the strike zone and driving it, whether it's to the opposite field, pulling it down the line. They've done a both job. Nice job by left and right-handed hitters.
And they did get the baseball.
As they should have.
Yep, they threw it in. Alan Bossert has it in his back pocket.
So you tell me you think Jonesy was listening to the telecast? Because I
I'm
know
just
they're
saying.
not sitting down there going, oh, yeah, we know how many doubles. Right?
They have the baseball.
Nolan Arenado, who doubled in a run in the 4th inning at the plate. And this one may be another double. This is headed to the gap in right center field. Arenado takes a wide turn and having to dive back. Look out.
Ouch.
And now Arenado will move up. What happened was Morneau had to shut it down around third. He wasn't sure if that ball, I guess, was going to get caught, and then he got clipped with the throw.
Like it caught him on the jaw.
That may happen on the slide, but you're looking at the little blood on the chin.
Doesn't that look pretty red on his neck right there? I think he's kind of feeling around. You know, Morneau has dealt with stiff necks anyway. Oh, man. Alfaro got to the ball. Strong arm comes in. Caught at second base by Segura. Then he fires it over to first. Deflected off the glove of Ramirez, and that's when it clipped Morneau.
It was on the chin that hit the ground.
He's not going to come out. He's a hockey player by trade.
A couple of scary moments in this ball game. Another look at it. I'll tell you what, that was a pretty good shot right on the side of the jaw and then down on the neck.
Be an error on Segura on the throw, allowing Nolan to move up. Second and third for Dickerson. Rockies have a chance here in the top of the 7th to break this thing wide open. Up by 3.
I'm a little surprised, Drew. There's nobody throwing in their bullpen at all. Boone Logan is up in the Rockies bullpen.
2 strikes on Dickerson. Both those pitches borderline on the 4th strike zone. Boone Logan up. Line drive caught by Lynn. 1 out. A chance for Nick Hundley to put a cherry on top of the evening. He's had 3 for 3, 2 singles and a double. He has scored a run, driven in a run.
It's heads up base running from Nolan at second. It's easy to get doubled up on that ball that's on the right side. He did not. Brewers playing in the number 3 depth, which is halfway between where you regularly play and all the way in.
And that's because of the speed of Morneau. They feel like that gives them a little more range, right, Jeff?
Yes.
If you have a guy with some pretty good speed at third, I don't know if you play that way. At least they're not doing the run-in thing like Tony does. What if he's got Chip Hale doing that?
Well, that was always a hard one to judge. When to start the run-in. A few managers tried to do that.
One on Nick Hundley. Good swing.
The Braves dumped out everybody, and I mean everybody. They're winning 12-2 tonight. They got after Latos. Ball game's in the top of the 9th inning.
Morneau at third. Arenado at second. And he went. So now it'll be left to DJ.
Now you see what Renicky does is he walk DJ to see
force the Rockies' hand.
Right.
And Lyles obviously is on deck. You'd assume that he would do that.
Looking in the dugout, there's nothing happening.
So when was the last time you saw a rain delay to a start of a game in Los Angeles, San Diego, and LA? There is a rain delay.
Wow.
That's why they have that tarp.
Yeah, that's why. Oh yeah, that's why. Yeah.
We always wonder that.
Yeah, they got to dust it off first.
I thought this. It's got some holes in it. Hadn't been out since '53.
2 strikes on LeMahieu. 2 for 3 tonight. One time he was retired, was on a line drive to right back in the 2nd inning. 5 runs, a dozen hits for the Rockies. 6 more doubles after 6 doubles last night. A major league record, 12 doubles in the first 2 ball games. On the ground to Segura. And the Rockies waste an opportunity. They had second and third, nobody out, and do not score. Milwaukee, game 2 of the journey that is 162 games in length. The Rockies 10-0 victors on opening day. They're up 5-2 in the bottom of the 7th against the Brew Crew. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Jeff Houston, Mark Stout, and our outstanding Root Sports crew. Well, the Rockies have turned to the bullpen here in the 7th. Jordan Lyles, 6 strong innings. Boone Logan will make his 2015 debut. 2 of the next 3 hitters scheduled are left-handed.
Well, that's the reason why. Boone, 35 games a year ago. Obviously a year he wasn't real proud of. He had the elbow problem right out of the chute in spring training, and then it didn't get any better. Another surgery late in the season. So he's back here to kind of redeem himself, I think, with the Rockies fans, and come out and throw the baseball well.
Gerardo Parra, 1 for 2, will be the first up here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And a breaking ball for a strike. Logan originally rose to prominence on the south side of Chicago. When he came up with the White Sox, remember when the Rockies played there several years back, Jeff, he was throwing mid to high 90s.
Yeah, and he's a big, tall guy, so he hides the ball behind him. When you do that as a pitcher and then you're throwing that hard, no left-hander wants to face him. Those are the uncomfortable at-bats.
Well, I think they had Thornton there at the time, too. It was like 2 big lefties. It wasn't just one coming at you. They had a little Twin Towers coming to do some damage.
1 and 2, Parra, Segura, and then the left-handed hitting Scooter Gennett. 6, 7, and 8. Two and 2. Jeff, I don't know if you could tell from your angle, Morneau clearly didn't get a good read on that base hit by Arenado.
No, because he wasn't sure where it was going to be and where Parra was playing, and so with Parra going over there, by the time he went, Stu was pretty deep, and he had his head down and didn't pick him up until late.
Strike 3.
Pretty good pitch by Logan here, because Boone goes slider, 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 then paints that heat on the outside corner, just froze him. Parra grabs some pine meat. That was a good strikeout. All fans on opening day, April the 10th, are going to receive a 2015 Rockies magnet schedule, courtesy of King Soopers. Tickets for the rest of the opening weekend, April 11th and 12th, they are still available.
Jonathan Broxton throwing in the Milwaukee bullpen. Gene Segura takes away ball 1. Segura single, and he was hit on the brim of his helmet his last time up on a curveball that got away from Jordan Lyles. I like that tweet from David. Said baseball players aren't tough. You take a baseball like Segura did off your noggin, and then another baseball like Morneau took. There's the welt on the neck. 1-1. Segura hits this ball well to left, but not well enough.
By the way, the last rainout in Dodger Stadium was in 2000. Dougie, did you know that? Drew, how many rainouts have they had in 53 years there? 17, since you didn't know. And 9 of those have come in April.
Since what year?
In the last 53 years.
They've had 17 rainouts?
In the last 53 years.
I would never have guessed it was that many.
9 of those in April.
I would have thought that it was in the single digits. Gennett takes a slider for a strike. The former Brewer, John Axford, is up in the Rockies bullpen. There's Big John. 2 strikes on Jeanette. 3 strikes on Jeanette. That's all you get. Strong inning for Boone Logan as he makes his 2015 debut. We move to the 8th inning. The Rockies 5 and the Brewers 2. A new major league record for the Rockies, 12 doubles the first 2 ball games of 2015. The day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. The Rockies will go to their bench here. It's 9-1-2. Rafael Inoa is going to hit against big Jonathan Broxton, former Dodger. Inoa got in the ball game yesterday defensively. Played third base very late in the ball game. Takes ball 1. Strong spring training. And Jeff, a terrific final couple of months when he was called to the big leagues after spending so many years in the Dodgers organization in the minor leagues.
Right, you don't know how somebody will react when they get that first shot because you've been dreaming of it for so long. Is it ever going to happen? And then when it does, you don't want to blow it. And he did not. He just played marvelously last year. And then comes into spring battling. Not sure what's going to happen, but he went out and he earned it.
Well, I got a question. Since you worked in the minor leagues as a coach, Jeff, what did he do so wrong not to get a chance before 9 years were up? I mean, he played pretty good last year.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have one of those guys, or you also need a sponsor at times. Somebody to be in your corner saying, hey, give this guy a chance. He can do it. And there obviously wasn't a sponsor for him with the Dodgers.
This is bounced to third. Aramis Ramirez throws out Rafael Inoa. 1 out. That'll bring up Charlie Blackmon. We're talking about Jordan Lyles getting to the big leagues at a young age. Jonathan Broxton got to the big leagues at a really young age because he was big as a crane, and he threw about 200 miles an hour.
But he was really good, too. That's why he got there. But he doesn't throw as hard as he used to. It wasn't 90. It's not 95, 98 anymore. Strikeouts aren't as prevalent anymore. But it's still a big human being standing on the mound with a pretty good track record in history of throwing the baseball. Its last fastball, 92.
Pretty good golf course in his hometown.
Augusta.
They'll be busy this week. Busy right now.
What do you get? Yeah. And the par 3 tournament goes on tomorrow.
Did you guys see Tiger's press conference today?
No.
That was the kinder, gentler, affable Tiger Woods. You caught it, huh, Huey?
I did.
Well, we haven't done much for a year and a half. You kind of just come in, answer the questions, and leave, don't you?
Well, he was charismatic. He was humble. He was funny, glib. Didn't shoot any penetrating eyes at any of his questioners. So it'll be an interesting week, as it always is at Augusta National. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Charlie Blackmon. Cargo's on deck. 8th inning, Rockies up by 3 runs. Adam Ottavino throwing. Broxton climbed the ladder with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball into George's Point. That used to be 98 up there.
It was. It really was. And again, it's not there, but placement is. The warning track and super suites are discounted up to 40% off for select dates in April. That's right. I said 40% off select dates in April. It include food and soft drinks. Call or book today. Do it immediately. Pick up the phone. Call the Rockies. 303 Rockies and reserve your suite. Some of those dates 40% off. That is a big savings.
Cargo sack fly his last time up, doubled in the 5th and scored 1 for 3.
Before Frankie Rodriguez signed back here, Broxton was the closer. He was going to be the guy to shut down the 9th inning for this ball club. And they were able to sign Frank back late in the season when he didn't get opportunities from anybody else.
Wide of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Native of Maracaibo in Venezuela, makes his home in the Orlando area now. Two and 1. Dale Scott saying no swing.
I'm with you, Dale. I didn't think he went.
Did he ask before he made the call?
No.
He didn't ask you?
Didn't ask me.
Huh.
Crew chief. Dale Scott.
Two one. Crowd of 30,222 after a sellout yesterday of more than 46,000. Yesterday was the 3rd largest crowd ever at Miller Park. The facility's been open 15 years now. Its opening, County Stadium, was delayed a year, if you recall that tragedy when the enormous crane fell. During construction. 2 and 2. Close. 3 and 2. And again, those borderline pitches, those are pitches. If Cargo started last year with the bad knee and the bad finger, he couldn't stop. He was getting all wound up. He had a much bigger leg kick.
Trying to generate that way. Generate his power.
This is sharply hit. Jeanette makes a good play. He's going to throw out Cargo. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Rockies are leading 5-2. Adam Ottavino time when we return.
some of the shots from another fun night so far at the Yard. Rockies up 5-2 as we go bottom 8. This is National Beer Day across the United States. I didn't know it until we came to Milwaukee, but, you know, we're playing the Brewers. We're in Beer Town. But it goes back to 1933 when there was the repeal of Prohibition. That amendment went in, and it was on this date, April the 7th, that you could drink beer again. Apparently, people waited overnight from April 6th to April 7th here in Milwaukee at the breweries. It was New Beer's Eve last night. I didn't take a big part of that, but I know that some of you guys did last night for New Beer's Eve, right?
Well, just for the basketball game.
Right, okay.
That's why.
That's why.
Mark, when in Milwaukee?
Yeah, right. Do like the Brewers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Luis Jimenez very quickly strikes out on a slider against Adam Ottavino, 1 out here in the 8th. Well, Adam Ottavino, stuff-wise, has very few peers in the game of baseball, George.
Well, it's up to 95, 97 miles an hour at the end of the year. 70 strikeouts in 65 innings. He doesn't walk anybody. Had that little rough stretch there in the middle of the season, but it's the wipeout slider to go along with a good fastball. That at 97, the offering out of the zone.
One and one. Carlos Gomez. And what happened to that baseball? It was right there, and then it moved like a foot. Descalso's now in at first base for Morneau. So maybe that neck tightening up. And again, that you know, you're not talking about a guy who's getting used to get hit in the neck, but he's had the stiff neck issues really throughout his career. One, two. See you later. He knew it.
He was guessing
that was
slider.
Hey, that was 98. That was 98 miles an hour on the black.
Oh, that's funny. I love it when stuff like this happens. It's like, see you later.
It's not only that, Huey, your field levels, you're seeing east and west. That thing came back over the outside corner. It moved back about 8 inches, so it's 98 with some sink and movement on it.
Those are those at-bats that you just tip your cap to the pitcher and say, you got me that time because you made me look foolish with 2 sliders, and then you pumped the 98 past me.
Yeah, there's 96 at the knees. Strike 1 on Lucroy.
Yeah, when it's 98 and it's on the black and it's on the knees, you know what that is? That's grab some pine meat with a little cushion on it. Oh, my, is that fun to watch. Yeah, the Rockies bullpen, they just struck out 4 out of 5 guys they've seen tonight. That any good?
Now, he talks about having 3 different sliders. That's the one where he takes it more 12-6, if you will.
Just get your hand on top of the ball versus off to the side of the ball with the long arm action. It's a matter of where you bring it through on the follow through.
George, how'd you describe that one?
Slide that. He threw it hard. It was a little tighter at 82. So he got his hand off at a 3/4 action. And he got a 3/4 arm movement on the baseball. Get your fingers on top, your hand on top of the ball. You get a 12-6. Right now, just throw this one at LaCroix about 85 miles an hour and see if he lays down.
A defensive swing. Here comes DJ. He'll get rid of it quickly over to Descalso. And it's a quick 1-2-3 8th inning for Adam Ottavino. 10 in a row set down by the Rockies pitching staff. 5-2 Colorado. opener 10-0, and they're up 5-2 in the top of the 9th inning, looking to tack on a couple insurance runs with George Frazier and Ryan Spilborghs. Now I'm Drew Goodman. You tightened up.
Yeah, I look good, right?
Yes.
Apparently, I got to do topicals. I used to think
Well,
topicals. No, I thought topicals was a cream. So now that I'm in the media thing, okay. So topicals for the post-game show. I'm just going to change it up. Double up. If the Rockies get a win right here, they're doubling up, and of course the record-breaking doubles. Shift happens. You like that?
Hey!
I'm allowed to say that. The Rockies have been doing a good job using a shift. They were last year, and we're going to go into the clubhouse with Mark Stout. He's going to get some interviews. And can I just say that Adam Ottavino is disgusting?
That's ridiculous. Did you like the 98-mile-an-hour power sinker on the outside corner?
Did you see Carlos Gomez just shake his head and go, how am I supposed to hit that? Okay, I got to go.
I think he said I give.
I give up. You win.
Spilly, have a good post game, my friend. Spilly's out the gate. Troy Tulowitzki comes up 2 for 4 tonight.
If it was a day game, you would not see Francisco Rodriguez in the game. A day game tomorrow because of the short turnaround being the closer. But with a night game, you get an extra 6-7 hours, thinking of it like a manager, to bring him in a ball game and get him an innings of work here to get his feet wet. But it's also against the difficult part of the lineup. It's a 3-run ball game. I get it. But Broxton was pretty good. They have a couple of other guys down in their bullpen. Typically, the closer wouldn't come in and pitch in the game unless it was a 1 or 2-run game. 3's a little more difficult.
K-Rod still has that violent delivery, George.
Well, he's got everything. I mean, you know, he'll throw a slider, a cutter at 89. He'll throw the fastball at 93. Very resilient, attitude-wise. Obviously very good. He had 73 strikeouts and only 18 walks in 68 innings a year ago.
Troy pokes this to left center field. Davis makes a running grab. 1 out. That'll bring up Daniel Descalso hitting in the spot where Justin Morneau was. He came in last inning defensively. Who Wants Tacos fans, follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies do score 7 or more in a ball game. So Descalso getting his first Colorado Rockies AB. Played short late in the ball game yesterday with the Rockies having a large lead. Colorado was able to get Tulo off his feet, Arenado off his feet, Cargo off his feet late in the ball game. See Daniel at first base, which is a place he has played the fewest amount of games of the infield spots, but he's so versatile. In fact, he's taken fly balls in the outfield during batting practice also, just in case, because the Rockies are carrying just 4 outfielders, Drew Stubbs being the extra outfielder. Here's the 1-1.
That's the role of a utility guy in the National League. Have glove will travel.
Yeah, but you know, Jeff, well as I do, normally it's a outfield and an infield, you know, where you guy can go. It's not a guy that has that much talent that can play all those positions other than Jeff Houston and Danny Delcalso.
Hey, as long as it kept me in the big leagues.
That's right, buddy.
And there's that hard breaking ball, strikeout of Descalso, 2 outs. Tonight's Game Changers brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, it's been the doubles tonight. It was the doubles last night. Tulowitzki with a double. Nolan Arenado throws out another double in this ball game. And Justin Morneau with his first hit of the year. What is it? Of course, it's a double to left center field. In the 9th inning, it'll be the 1,001st appearance for LaTroy Hawkins. The 42-year-old, the oldest player in baseball. So working with him is John Axford. couple of former Brewers. 2-0. And this ball's ripped. What a play by Ramirez. That was a hot shot. So we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Rockies looking to close out Milwaukee. They have a 5-2 advantage. A 5-2 lead, looking for 3 more outs as we check our CenturyLink link to what's next. In the final game of this opening series in 2015, the Rockies will send young Eddie Butler to the hill against 17-game winner from a year ago, Willie Peralta. And we'll be on the air in the Mountain Time Zone with our pregame show at 5:30. There's Eddie. And on the hill right now, LaTroy Hawkins. 1,000 appearances in his career. Looking to save his first ball game in 2015. 42 years young. Except when there's little stubble. Then you start to see a little gray on LaTroy's face. Well, you know, all of us are in
It'll
that
happen
same
to
boat.
him, Jay. Don't worry, Jeff. It'll get him. Last year, 23 of 26 in save opportunities for the Rockies. 32 strikeouts and 54 in the third. Not a big strikeout guy, a contact guy that opponents don't hit very hard. 248 overall average.
First pitch down low at 91 to Adam Lind, who's 1 for 2 and a walk. Lind, Ramirez, Chris Davis. Straight up defense in the infield, a shade toward left center by Charlie Blackmon. It's 1-1. Pitch may have been a little bit low, called to strike. If you look at the forward strike zone. Been a pretty liberal zone both ways tonight from Dan Iasanya.
I would never complain either way. I think he did a very nice job back there.
Ground ball toward the hole, cut off nicely by Descalso, and double toe tap in the bags, LaTroy. 1 out.
The hardest play for a utility guy that doesn't have a whole lot of innings at first base, and the one that's going to your right, then you have to lead the pitcher. Even though you work on PFPs during spring training, you don't do it very often.
How important is it, Jeff, and you were guys sometimes that had to play a lot of different spots in the infield, to get your work, not just get ground balls, but make sure that somewhere on the right side, somewhere on the left side, somewhere at third?
Yeah, and that's where, if you have an idea of where you're going to play during spring training, like the manager comes up or the bench coach says you're going to play second base today. Well, you do a lot of your work there at second, and then try to get your other work in the next day at a different position.
2 strikes quickly on Aramis Ramirez. Strike 3, 2 outs in the 9th. Ramirez is dismissed.
Really good job with a quick pitch on pitch number 2. In other words, the delivery continued, didn't ever come to a set position. Then gets on top and just rides a fastball, knee-high outside corner at 92 miles an hour. Wow, that was fast, he said. That's 3 pitches, and I'm making a right turn here.
2 outs, nobody on. Chris Davis at the plate, 0 for 3 this evening. Robbed his last time up by DJ LeMahieu, who's playing on the left side with that shift. And this will be a base hit right center field for Davis. Well, we want to point something out. We've been telling you all evening that the Rockies broke the record for most doubles in the first 2 games. Our database goes back to 1914. Actually, the 1912 Giants had 12 doubles in the first 2 games. So the Rockies are now tied with those Giants of 1912 for most doubles produced in the first 2 games of a season. Gerardo Parra, 1 for 3. He doubled and scored in the 5th inning. The 5th inning's when the Brewers scored their only 2 runs. 6 solid innings tonight from Jordan Lyles. And the bullpen's been spotless. 1-2-3 inning for Boone Logan, 1-2-3 inning from Adam Ottavino. Both of those guys struck out a pair of hitters. And now with 2 outs and 1 on, Hawkins trying to get Parra. Fouled off. Davis was looking to move up. He'll come back.
You're playing behind at first. You don't really matter if he takes off. Daniel more range.
Going again, and he'll swipe second. No stolen base will be awarded. It's 2-1. Rockies yesterday in shutting out the Brewers allowed 8 hits, all of them singles. Tonight they've allowed 6 hits, 2 doubles. One of the singles was an infield hit. In the air, pretty deep left field, and making the catch near the line to end the ball game is Corey Dickerson. And the Rockies are out to a 2-0 start, winning this evening 5-2 behind Jordan Lyles. Couple tough chances for Corey Dickerson in this ball game. Got a good jump here near the line.
Yeah, just made it play. I mean, this is when you come out to these ballparks, work on a lot of fly balls, know where you are, catch the fly to the baseball. Never took his eyes off, made the catch.
And the Rockies have their first 2-0 start since 2001, some 14 years ago. In fact, it's